Crying does not make you weak. Expressing vulnerability is not a form of weakness. Crying is a natural healing method because you are a human being. You are not a beep, bop, boop robot. I don't know who made up this lie, but just because you cry does not mean you're weak. Just because you talk about what has happened to you, the trauma, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, physically, or financially, or howeverly, does not make you sensitive. It is very insensitive to tell people, oh, well, you're weak because you cry, or you're a loser because you talk about your feelings, or maybe you cry all the time and you don't know how to let go of what it is that you're feeling. It's okay, because this is how you're going to improve yourself. This is how you're going to improve your mental health in the year 2024. Whenever you come across this video, you can start improving your mental health. You need to validate yourself. I'm not going to tell you to just be consistent other than seeking help from a therapist, a mental health specialist, or talking to yourself because maybe you don't know how to express how you feel. You need to learn that you feeling sad, you being angry, you being mad is okay and it's normal. Why is it normal? Well, because once upon a time, not long ago, you were an innocent being. Everyone is born pure, innocent, naive. Why? Because you're just a little baby. And everyone is taught information based off of their exposure in the reality. But unfortunately, because there's a lot of corruption, confusion, and division in the world, everybody doesn't know everything. People only know what they see, what they heard, what they've been exposed to by other people, places, such as your family members, who are the first people that you meet, by the way, unless you're born in the hospital, okay? The people that you're in neighborhoods with, your community, your schooling, primary and secondary, the sports, the activities that you play in. Then you meet people at work, okay, if you have a job, or just anything outside of you. So whatever has been programmed onto you is what you know, until you may unfortunately go through some type of tragedy, some adversity, or something that causes you to second guess yourself or doubt yourself. So there's nothing wrong with you. Let's make that clear. A lot of people are going to prescribe medicine. A lot of people are going to say that you have ADHD, OC3, BBC, EFG. And this is not to invalidate those who do that, but as your favorite mental health specialist, internally and externally are two different realities. And without going too far into the rabbit hole or spirituality, your mental health starts with your emotions. How you feel. Your mindset can always change. Your emotions, if you're suffering from trauma that you didn't know that you had because you're used to chaos or corruption, or you've been projected information, or you've been limited information or resources, you're not going to know any better. So you have to validate yourself. You have to know that there is nothing wrong with you and that you're going to be okay. Now, looking at it from a psychological point of view, looking at it as a general human being point of view, you have unhealed trauma. That's just the truth. So this is going to be a raw trigger warning type of video, okay? I'm going to give you 3 seconds. You can exit if you don't want to hear the truth, because this is what they're not going to tell you. A lot of us have unhealed trauma that we've been experiencing since birth, okay? From generational cycles, like previously, your parents, your grandparents, your ancestors, okay? It could be a bloodline thing since birth, since you came out the womb, ever since you were a child, or as you've gotten older. Nobody is born with hate in their heart. Nobody says when they grow up, I want to be a SA, or I want to be SA'd or touched on. Nobody says when I grow up, I want to be in poverty. When I grow up, I'm going to be a criminal. When I grow up, I'm going to commit all these crimes. When I grow up, I'm going to fight and beat. No, that has been taught, unfortunately, because a lot of confusion, corruption, and chaos. So we have to go to the root of the problem. A lot of people, like I said, want to give you medicine and say you this and that. No. I'm just going to advise you, though, when you come across these videos, when you come across this channel, we're going to the root. So which means we have to unlift the rug. People like to sweep all their problems underneath the rug. No, we're lifting it up, which means all the times that you were touched on, all the times you were beaten, all the times you were told that you were ugly, that you were fat, that you were unworthy, all the times you experienced poverty or whatever it was, we got to start talking from that. That's where we have to start. That's where we have to begin. That's how you're going to improve your mental health. So if you're not ready to talk about that, because what happens is when you suppress your emotions, because let's just say this happened to you since birth. One, you don't know any better because you're a child. Or two, you know better and you're afraid because people like to threaten people or install fear onto people. Let's be honest, because it's adults that groom us, which are unhealed and broken children. So you don't know no better. You're afraid to speak up. And what happens is when you don't talk about what has happened to you, or you don't know something has happened to you, it's not going to be until later when it comes back, consciously or subconsciously, because either A, you're ready, or B, something is going to happen in your life for you to change your perspective because you're growing. So the same thing, that's when you're like, oh my gosh, this has been happening to me since I was 3, or this happened to me when I was 7, or this has happened to me now. And you're now able to realize how you feel. What happens is when you hold on to energies that don't belong to you from those people, places, and things that traumatized you, one, you think that you're schizophrenic. You think that you have ADHD. You think you're neurodivergent. You think you're all of these things. And it's like when you were born, you didn't even have a pot or a piss or a pan. Excuse me. You didn't have a pot or a pan to PISS in. You were pure. You didn't have a Range Rover when you were a baby. You may have had a plastic one, materials. You were taught how to speak. You were taught how to walk. You were taught how to do all of these things, okay? So when you are improving your mental health, number one, you need to know that you are going to be okay and that you are okay. Number two, this is where it gets sticky, icky, okay? Number two, you have to be willing to talk about the trauma on your time. Now, of course, I don't force people to do anything that they don't want to. I'm not editing this video. If it resonates with you, it resonates with you. If it doesn't, you can't force people to talk about things that make them feel uncomfortable. You have to want to heal in order to improve your mental health. You cannot improve your mental health if you're not ready to be completely honest. And sometimes, like I said, that's scary because this whole entire time you've been walking around as somebody that you weren't, or you've been walking around with so much issues inside that nobody knows. That's why people grow up to become serial killers. Nobody, like I said, just wakes up and says, oh, I just want to go ahead and pew. No, something has happened. Once again, this is not to justify or condone this type of energy, but we have to be honest. With reaction, there are solutions, cause and effect. People aren't born racist. That has been programmed and taught to people. People aren't taught to suppress people or belittle people or bully people. No, all that has been taught. Okay? So if you are not ready to talk about what has happened to you on your time, it's going to be really challenging for you to improve your mental health. And I'm just, like I said, this is really raw, authentic. This is probably going to be one of the most authentic, like, heart-to-heart videos. Not saying that none of my videos aren't previously, but like, this is who I really am as a person. If you come across this video, this is the real deal. Like, let's go ahead and lift up all the curtains because a lot of people are afraid. I'm not. And you don't need to be afraid either. A lot of people live in fear. A lot of people are under this low vibration. Doesn't exist over here. So if you're not ready to talk about it, which means when you are improving your mental health, you actually have to put in the work. So that's why I made the comment. It's not to be shady, but it's like medicine is temporary. And I'm going to show you guys. I take these to leave when I have cramps sometimes, or I used to. I don't like to take medicine anymore. I like to use natural, resources, but to each his own. It's temporary. When you have a headache or when I have cramps, it's temporary. It's not like it solves it forever. There are multiple different ways for you to heal yourself. This channel, like I said, natural. Because it's like a lot of the issues that a lot of people aren't aware of are internal. You think you have ADHD because someone told it. And then once you accept, this is the problem. This is why I don't like labels and titles. But once you tell someone, oh, you have ADHD, now they are thinking in this way, and you don't have to think like that. You don't have PTSD. You've been suffering from a car accident that you got into, and now you're afraid to drive because maybe you didn't talk about how it made you feel, or physically your body's in shock. It takes time to heal. Don't get it twisted. I'm not going to say, oh, you have no, because guess what? I've been in so many car accidents. There was one time where I got into a car accident, and at the time, I thought I had PTSD when I had to learn how to overcome my fears. You can overcome the labels and titles that they prescribe onto you. That's what they don't want you to know. I'm not invalidating that you did experience trauma, because I had trauma too. Like, I was like, at first when I got into the accident, like I was in a physical shock, mentally, spiritually, all that good stuff. And I just remember being afraid to drive. But I had to overcome that PTSD, because how else am I going to live my life? That's the problem. They want you to feel stuck. People want you to feel stagnant. When it comes to you improving your mental health, you cannot be stuck. You can't be stagnant. So the third thing you need to realize when improving your mental health is that there are possibilities. There are solutions. Everybody in the world is not miserable. Everybody in the world is not in poverty. And to be honest with you, a lot of people like to say, oh, there are people out there who have it worse than you, or everyone's not living a good life. You don't know that. We don't know that. You have to trust what you know, and you have to do what is right to you. So when it comes to you improving your mental health, you have to know that there are possibilities. You have to know that there are solutions. If you don't know that there are any solutions, or if you're not trying to figure out how to get to these solutions or these resources, you're limiting yourself. So the fourth thing you need to realize when it comes to you improving your mental health is that the reason why people say you have PTSD is because you're holding on to memories that no longer exist. That's the truth. That's the truth. When you are holding on to memories and energies that are not in your current reality, psychologically, you think your mind is going back and forth, back and forth. And literally, I just talked about this in a previous video. It's literally your higher self and your traumatized self, to speak in general, okay? Because you're the same person, but once again, that's a different topic for a different video. Your higher self and your healed or your unhealed self are literally going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, fighting. Because you already survived the days that had happened to you that may have been traumatic or just overwhelming. But because you never talked about it, because you never got the guidance, because you don't need help. You need guidance. We all need guidance. Help, guidance, depends on how you want to use it. But because you never got the guidance, you never articulated how you feel, you never felt comfortable, you felt embarrassed, afraid, or shame, which are low vibrational energies, because that's what life is really about. Let's be for real. You're holding it inside. And you're suffering because you're attached. You're overly attached. And that's a different topic for a different video. When you are overly attached to people, places, situations, you're going to feel a lot of pain. And it's not to invalidate you. And I want you to know that the fifth thing, and I'm going to end off the video, and let me know if you guys want a part 2. I mean, it's going to come anyways, but stay tuned, is that when you are improving your mental health, you got to grieve. So healing, honestly, is going to take your entire life, because that's the whole purpose of your existence. But once again, not getting too far into the rabbit hole, because everyone does not know this information. A lot of people are in a lower vibration, but some of us, like your favorite mental health specialist, is not. And I'm going to use the powers, because all of us have powers, like all of us have gifts, all of us have things that we're supposed to do in this life. We're all supposed to help each other, because when you're born into this world, you need people. When you die, you're going to need people. That's also a different topic for a different video. So I hope you guys are getting your pen and your paper, taking y'all notes, because, ooh. But healing, there's no right or wrong way to do so. So take the information that resonates with you. If it's for you, if it's for you. If it's not, you can't force it. And that's another thing in life. You cannot force things into life. You cannot force nobody to be your friend. You can't force nobody to love you. So it's like, if you're not ready to heal, none of this matters. But if you are, healing is going to take your entire life. But as people like to say in general, for the public, there are going to be stages and phases that you're going to constantly go through, because everyone's in survival mode. You're always going to be in survival mode. Unless you're dead, you have to survive. Financially, emotionally, spiritually, academically, there are different ways to survive, but everyone doesn't know that. People think because if you have money now, you're not in survival mode. Rich people, and I know from experience, have to still survive, because the more money that you make, the more money has to come into your pockets, okay? And so do homeless people. Homeless people, poor people, black, white, Asian, hey, gay, them, she, we all go through trials and tribulations. It's just, are we willing to talk about it? Are we willing to feel comfortable? Are we ready to stop being afraid? Are we ready to use our voices and cry and unlearn and learn information to become better? Or are we going to stay where we are? Because that's what this really is. It's a lot of fear inside of you. So if you want to improve your mental health, lastly, you have to be willing to say goodbye, fear. Because that's all it is. It's just fear. It's fear. When you get into a car accident, you're afraid to drive, fear. When you get beat up in a fight and you're afraid to go outside, fear. When you get touched on inappropriately, you have a fear. It's just fear. It's a lot of fear. It's a lot of fear, and it sounds scary. It sounds spooky, but it's like when you're improving yourself. So I'll say this, and I'll end off the video. When you are improving yourself and you're improving your mental health, you have to be ready to receive love, because that's how you're going to improve your mental health. You have to learn to love yourself the way that nobody else could love you. Because to be honest, your mom and dad are temporary. Your friends, temporary. Why are they temporary? Because you're not going to be able to live with them for the rest of your life. Certain people are going to be in your life longer than others because there's a lesson. We're all reflections. We're all connected, if we're being honest. But once again, you're going to have to learn what you learn from people. And I'm going to hold your hand, and I say this out of the bottom of my spirit. I love you. You are loved, and you're not the only person who's been through trials and tribulations. Imagine, you guys, what I've gone through if I make these videos. Like, a lot of people, and once again, this is really vulnerable of me. Like, this video right here, okay? So, I'm knowing the right people are going to come across this video, but, like, if I'm loving light, because a lot of people just see the light, there's darkness, or there could be darkness. Let me say that, okay? And I speak in general until everyone's on the same page, because you have to do things very strategically in life in order to get to where you need to be, because it's not an accident. If you're able to see, when people have vision, when people see things, it's very intentional. I've been through a lot of stuff too that is going to be exposed, and that's why I'm putting myself out here publicly, because who am I supposed to be afraid of? Okay? Like, seriously. You only get one life to be you in this lifetime. We don't need to be living afraid. So if you want to improve your mental health, make sure you follow for more. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, let me know in the comment section. If you like videos like this, drop the word mental health. Stay tuned. I am going to make a playlist right after I upload this video. I'm not able to put up the end screen, but check out the previously, I don't know, you guys. I'm not editing it. These last couple of videos, I've just been tongue twisted, but I guess it's because I got a lot to say. And usually I have like these cards and I write them down, but this one I just recorded. I'm literally just recording, okay? I'm gonna make a playlist. Follow. All the social media information will be down in the description box below. I'm not editing this video because I want you guys to see I'm a real person just like you too, and anything is possible if you believe. Because that's another thing. If you believe, then it's real. If you don't believe in it, then you don't believe in it. It's very, very simple. Like, people in the world trying to make things problematic and chaotic, we don't do that. We don't do that over here. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment down below. I'm going to make a playlist. I can't put up my end screens. That's what I was talking about. So just check them out, the previous videos. And if you want a one-on-one session, click the link down below. Availabilities are available. They're only going to be available for a couple more months for the rest of this year, because we have to switch things up, okay? Sometimes in life, you got to go through changes, because that's what life is about. You're constantly evolving, you're constantly changing, and you're constantly become a better person. So I love you. Do not be afraid. Like, for the real people who are part of this community, you guys are not watching these videos for me or to support me. You're watching these videos for yourself, okay? So do not be afraid. I apologize that you went through the things that you did, and I'm making this video because I have a story just like you. I'm just going to be the face of it because, like I said, I'm not afraid of anybody. I'm not afraid to be honest, because when it comes to you improving your mental health, and I'm really going to end the video off here, when it comes to you improving your mental health, you have to tell the truth, and the truth is very uncomfortable and scary for a lot of people that lie, corrupt, steal, and cause chaos, confusion, and all those evil things, as people like to say. Love you, bye.